What's up, tribe? How y'all doing? Good evening to you all. Look, first of all, okay, so this is your review of Love Is Season 1, Episode 1. Let me tell y'all something. I had to come home today from work and cuss out my DVR. And why did I have to cuss out my DVR is because for some reason, my DVR did not pick this episode up last night. I knew this was supposed to premiere last night, but I was like, when it didn't pick it up, I was like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's really Wednesday night. And then that's why I did We Are the Campbells, because I was watching We Are the Campbells thinking, while I look at We Are the Campbells, Love Is will tape. I could watch Love Is, do my review, boom, boom, right? It wasn't no Love Is when I got done with We Are the Campbells. So I went to bed last night thinking, okay, it's not tonight. Because I even went to be, oh, that's what I did wrong. Okay. As I'm telling y'all the story, I know what I did wrong. I went to BET looking for the show, but it's an OWN show, so I didn't go to OWN. That's why I ain't see it. Because I was like, I went to BET and they were showing like the Five Heartbeats or something, which one of my favorite movies, but that ain't what I was trying to see last night. So anyway, I'm sorry that this is a day late because when I tell y'all that I love this show, I love... This review is going to probably be all over the place because this show did so much for me. I'm so serious. I cannot. I told y'all when I did the little mini review, like preview, it wasn't a review, it was a preview of the show, that I wasn't sure about it. I was on the fence about watching the show and reviewing the show until I saw that it was set in the 90s. And that just kind of did it for me because that's my era. Like, that is my era. I wasn't born in the 90s, but that was when I was like in my heyday. You know, that was high school, college, right at, early 20s, that whole time period. So, first of all, I want the damn soundtrack because every song brought back a memory. Every song they played brought back a memory that made me be like, yes. I could tell you exactly where I was probably the first time I heard the song. If not the first time, when something significant in my life happened during that time period when I heard the song. Lauryn Hill, X Factor, um, um, Groove Therapy, TLC, like you name it, they played it, and I was like, yes. Um, but anyway, I told you guys the show is a love story about Yasir and Nori, that is based on the love story of y'all know who I'm talking about. I can see their names, but I can see their faces, but their names. But anyway, y'all know who I'm talking about, and I said it in the preview. So, um, but it starts off in modern day. It starts off in 2018, and it looks like they're doing almost like a black love type thing where they're being interviewed about their story, about their history, about how they got to where they are. And I'm just noticing that the couch that they're sitting on is the couch that Nori was buying when they reconnected. I'll get there. But it talks, they're celebrating their 20th anniversary, and you see her come out and she kind of talks about how, what he did for her, how he helped her pull back the layers and see her for who she was and so forth and so on. And then he comes out and they kind of do that, that old couple back and forth bitter thing. But then you see the love there. You know what I mean? Like, the love was there when they were bickering. But I was like, damn, that's how they're going to start this interview off, with bickering with each other? Because he was telling her to go change because that outfit was played and something else he told her. Oh, he starts talking about the cow and how he's trying to save a cow. And she's like, don't get him started on that damn cow. And he starts telling the story of the cow. And she was like, all right, I'll go change. And you see him kind of sit back like, I knew that would do it. So, you see how they know each other, right? Then it flashes back to when they met. And they met in 1996. So here's the thing. Yasir is sitting at a little coffee shop. Y'all know the coffee shop back in the day before the Starbucks or whatever. The little coffee shop, neighborhood coffee shop. He's sitting there with his boy and they talking, doing what guys do. He trying to, he on a get rich quick scheme, and Yasir's like, that's stupid. You ain't gonna make no money on that. Like, what you doing? And he's like, I thought you wanted me to meet your girl. He was like, I didn't say she was my girl. I said I wanted you to meet a girl. And Nori walks in. He was like, "Oh, there she go right there," and she walks right past him. And this is what's funny to me because y'all know how Oprah feel about the N word, right? He was like, "Nigga, she walked right by you." That hit me. I was like, "Wow." Oprah executive produce a show that uses nigga in such a frivolous way as a colloquialism. Oh, I was a little shocked by that. Maybe she's evolving. I don't know. Um, but he was like, I didn't say I knew her. I said I wanted you to see who I was. Like basically, he's got a crush on Nori, and he's been peeping Nori, but he doesn't have enough nerve to get up and talk to her. So he gets up to either go to the bathroom or go get a cup of tea or something like that. And when he gets up to go, Yasir, he gets up and walks over to her, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Yasir. What's your name?" And you see he has this confidence that's really borderline on arrogance, right? And they talk for a minute, and you can see that he's starting to kind of feel her. Because I even wrote in my notes, he stole his man girl, right? But then he pulls back. Because I guess he catches himself. He pulls back, and Mara Brock Akil and her husband, Asad Akil. I'm sure I'm saying his name wrong, but yeah, that's the couple that this is based on. And he sort of pulls back and he says, "Well, nice to meet you." And he goes back over to the table where he was sitting with his boy. His boy comes back with a cup of tea or whatever. And he was like, "Her name is Nori." And he was like, "Well, thank you." Like, it never clicked. Like, how you know her name? Like, well, what the hell did he was like, "Thank you, Nori. Cool." But he still doesn't go over and speak to her. And then that's that. A year later, we see that, I'm sorry, we get enough of the conversation to know that Nori is an unemployed, struggling writer in LA, living a dream, writing her scripts, right? Fast forward to, I'm sorry, Yasir is not living in LA. He came to bring his boy down. He's from San Francisco. He's from the Bay. But he said, "I'm a writer too." And she was like, "You need to just come on and make it permanent. You need to come down here and chase your dreams. And he was like, "Nah, I'm good." So then we see, fast forward a year later, Nori is now working on a sitcom because remember, and I think it's supposed to be Martin because I believe she was a writer on Martin. I believe that's how she got her break. But if it's not Martin, it's supposed to be a parody of Martin's show. She's writing for Martin. She just bought a house. She didn't cut her hair because they were doing the whole light skin long hair thing because she had this long hair, but she cut her hair. And we see that Yasir has now moved to LA and he's living with Ruby. Ruby is clearly somebody he knows from San Francisco, and at some point there was something romantic, but at this point Ruby ain't really feeling Yasir right now. Yasir's not working, he's unemployed, but he's writing his scripts and he's living on his dream, like he's chasing his dream. And this is the first scene that had me sort of conflicted because you see both sides of this story. I see where Ruby's coming from. Ruby is like, "Look, the rent come every month. And I feel that you got dreams and all, but I'm going to need you to go get a job because my landlord, he don't like getting paid in dreams." Then you see Yasir saying, "Look, I have, like, why you not supporting me?" He was like, "I got another unemployment check coming. Like, we good for right now. I got a couple of interviews lined up, but why are you so mean to me?" Because she was being real mean to him. But we don't know what happened before that. We don't know how long he been there with no job. Like, I don't know none of that. But there's clearly tension there. There's clearly a problem with their situation. And Ruby she probably loves him, but she ain't really happy that he's there. He is like, she is clearly irritated. And like I said, I see both sides of that coin. On one hand, I'm like, dang, why we can't never support our brothers, but then on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, but the rent due every month, brother. So I see both sides of that one. We see Ruby at work. Ruby is a female writer. It's only her and one other female writer who's like her best friend. And you see them going into the writing room, and you see her sort of kind of, Kadeem Hardison plays the boss, and you see her sort of kind of challenge a little bit, like push back a little bit on some of the jokes that they were trying to tell her, and Kadeem tells her straight up. He was like, "Okay, well, if you don't like that joke, what joke would you think we should replace it?" And she was like, well, I wasn't sure, but me and Kim were talking, and her friend was like, you and who? I can speak for myself, and I just want to let you know that I'm cool. Like, she was like, you ain't gonna bring me in that bullshit, because it was clear that Kadeem Hardison was irritated with this whole I don't like this joke, but I don't really have a better idea situation. And he was like, so let me explain. He was like, so let me understand something. You came to me with a criticism without a solution. He was like, so that makes you a critic. And this is a room full of writers. He was like, if you have a problem, then write me something better. And if you don't have nothing better, then keep your mouth shut until you do. And I thought that was interesting because I was like, that's cool. Like, if you're coming to me with the criticism without a solution, then you're a critic. I like that. So, but we see that they, in that year, where their lives have advanced. So, the funniest scene of the damn episode is we see Nora in bed, and she just like, you know how you wake up, like you feel somebody's looking at you. You know how you in that, you're not quite awake yet, but you're not all the way asleep. It's that in the morning where you starting to come out of that sleep, and you're kind of aware that things are going on around you, but you ain't really ready to open your eyes and get out of bed yet. Okay. But she could feel it. So she opens her eyes while her mama standing over her. And she was like, what are you doing here? And we see that she's not alone. She got a man laying next to her. And her mother is unbothered by this whole thing. Like, her mother is this whole, like, what sign are you? Oh, because he was like, I'm a Taurus. She was like, Nori, I told you can't be messing with these Tauruses unless you in love. He already in love with you. You a Gemini. You know how you are. And you can't. And he was like, she said, Ma, he is not in love with me. And he was like, well, actually. And Nori is like, I know you're not doing this in front of my mama who done walked up in the middle, like, in first thing in the morning, ain't knock, ain't do nothing, used her key to come up in his house. He laid up in the bed, ain't got no clothes on. She like, why? Why you don't have no clothes on? Because we ain't had sex. All we did was dry hump. First of all, I ain't heard that term since high school. Dry hump. But she was like, all we did was dry hump. And he was like, that's all you did. So clearly when you went to bed, Nora, he finished up the job that you didn't finish. And I ain't mad at you for not finishing it. I'm just saying he took care of his business. And her mother, and he ends up leaving because he was like, I am in love with you, and do you just see me as your little errand boy? And she was like, her mother was like, oh, you ain't tell him about the other men? And Nori is like, Mom, what the? Come to find out, Nori dating him and two other dudes, and got a boyfriend in New York. But I ain't mad at Nori. Because when she's talking to her girlfriend, she was like, look, I ain't sleeping with him. She's like, what, she started sleeping with all of them. She said, but I'm just enjoying myself. She was like, I know that Derek, that's the boyfriend in New York. She was like, I know he's seeing other people. And all I'm doing is enjoying myself and living my life until he figure out that I'm the one and we get married. I ain't even mad at you, Nori. Especially since you ain't really sleeping with all these dudes. You just dating them. I ain't mad at you at all. You just living your best life in your early 20s with your new house and your new car and your good job. I ain't mad at you at all. So her mother goes on to tell her, look, you working too much. You ain't even had time to decorate your house. Look, you got a bed. Your CDs are stacked up on the floor. We all done had that starter apartment or whatever where you did good enough to come up with the security deposit, first month's, last month's rent. You ain't had time to go down to rent a center or go nowhere and get you no furniture. And all you good to have a bed, a nightstand, and a curtain for your shower. I done been there, boo. Been there. But her mother says, look, go out here, get some furniture for this daggone house. Like, make it look lived in. Like, enjoy the fruits of your labor. Like, you don't have, she was like, she said, this would be me showing you love if you had a mirror, But her mother is funny. And then she took her mama's key back. Oh, her mama brought the neighbor with her. Talking about something, well, I thought you should meet the neighbor. Not unannounced on a Saturday morning. Or no, it wasn't Saturday. It was Martin Luther King's birthday. Because her mother didn't think she was going to be there is what it was. Because she was like, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be at work? She was like, it's Martin Luther King's birthday. Her mother was like, oh, yeah. Like, oh, yeah, y'all get off of that now, And so, that was hilarious to me. That was the funniest part of the episode. So while she's shopping, and that's when you see her with this couch that they're sitting on at the beginning of the episode. You see, she's out shopping with her little Tommy Hilfiger cut off sweater and her little Gucci or Liz Claiborne little purse that her back is styled down. And with her Walkman, we all had them. And she walks past Yasir and his friend. Now the friend done had a baby. He got the baby in the baby Bjorn sitting in front of him, and he's like, "Yo, that's her." And he was like, "Who?" He was like, "That's Nori." And he was like, "Oh wow, she cut her hair." And just this when you know that Yasir is a little different. Like Yasir was like, "Well, he was like, that's a big deal for a woman to cut her hair." He was like, "Yeah, especially a light skinned woman. That means that she's rejecting the trappings of her light skin heritage and da 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 da. Like he goes off on this whole diatribe about what it means when a light skinned woman cuts her hair, how deep it is." His friend was like, "Oh, that could just mean she wanted to cut her hair." They're funny. So you see, they have this encounter, and again, like I said, this shows you how arrogant Yasir is. Again, confident, arrogant. It's that he's on that borderline, right? He had tickets to the Wynton Marsalis concert that Ruby didn't want. Ruby said, "I sell them and bring me my rent. Like I don't want no. I ain't going to no concert with you." And that's when he was like, "Why are you so mean to me? Like I'm just trying to do something nice. I want us to do something nice." He wants to celebrate the fact that he finished writing his script. And anyway, so he invites her to the Wynton Marsalis concert. And she agrees to go, and they do their little flirt thing, and he gives her the phone number and everything. And I was thinking, I'm like, well, if we're in the 1990s, is that his beeper number, or is he really giving her the number to the house that he living in with Ruby? Because I had a beeper back in the day. You had beeper. So I don't want to tell y'all everything because I really want y'all to go watch it. So I'm trying not to give y'all all of the stuff, but it is so good. It is so good. All right, I'm gonna fast forward through the rest of it and just go to the ending, because the ending is really good. We see Yasir and his friend talking, whatever. All right, so I'm gonna skip over some stuff because I really want y'all to go watch the show. So I'm not gonna tell y'all every single thing that happened, but we see that Nori has a change of heart. She says, "You know what? I can't accept these tickets." And so her friend tells her to get okay, I guess I'm gonna tell y'all everything. What's funny is that her friend tells her give him back. She was like, "Look, you got 3 dudes and 1 on reserve in New York, and this is a good guy because he done made all these grand gestures." I ain't gonna tell y'all what he did. He done made all these grand gestures to show you how romantic he is and that he's really a good dude. And you about to dog him over, then he gonna end up dating him a white girl. Like she was like, "Give him back to us. Let a woman who's ready for what he giving. Let a woman who's ready for what he trying to where he trying to be in his life. Let her have him. You give him back." It was funny, and Nori was like, "You're right, cause you're right. I'm just gonna dog him out, cause I'm really not trying to be with nobody right now, other than the dude in New York who. So she calls him to say, "Look, but she doesn't tell him. She says, meet me at the coffee shop where they met a year ago." And they meet, and she's like, "Look, I got daddy issues, which makes me, basically, which makes me susceptible when a man makes a grand gesture. And I was caught up in the gesture and caught up in what you was doing. But at the end of the day, I can't accept these tickets. I don't think she tells him she has a boyfriend, but she's like, look, I can't accept these tickets." And he was like, half of the U.S. population is divorced. You don't own the market on daddy issues and coming from a single family. You just don't want to go. Like, whatever." She was like, "I'm opening up to you and you rejecting it." He was like, "Nah, you just changed your mind about going, but I want you to go." He was like, "I tell you what, you keep the ticket. We can still go." She was like, "Well, what you gonna do with your ticket?" He's like, "I'm going." She said, "Then it would be like a date." He said, "No, we don't have to talk to each other. We don't have to acknowledge each other. Matter of fact, it's probably best that we don't talk during the concert. Other people might not appreciate that." And like I said, it's just this whole confidence that he has about himself. Okay, so I'm going to tell y'all something else. Y'all love this show. Loretta Devine plays his mother, and you see where he calls her when he's getting frustrated. The situation with Ruby and sleeping on her well, he was sleeping on the couch, but just their relationship not being what he wants it to be, and just y'all know sometimes you just need to hear your mama's voice or your daddy's voice or your grandmama's voice, like when you just having a moment and you just need to hear their voice. It was one of those moments, and he just needed to talk to his mom. And she the joke cracking grandma, you know, but she said she gave him some really good words of wisdom, and he was like, Mom, what should I do? And she was like, look, sorry, that's my phone. And she was like, look, if you there for Ruby, then make it work. If you there to chase your dreams, then chase your dreams. And the situation with Ruby is going to be what it's going to be. And he said, do you think I can do this? Like, do you really think I can be a successful writer? She said, I've already seen it. You just got to believe it, honey. That took him down. He just started crying. He was like, thanks, Ma. Like, I just needed that. So, back to them meeting up at the coffee shop. So, they arguing over this daggone ticket. And finally, she's just like, look, I got to go. I got to go to work. My job's never done. I'm always on call. And, I got to get ready to get out of here. And he was like, let me ask you a question. When do you make time for yourself? And then the next thing you know, she done sat back down. She done ordered some food. And they are really getting to know each other. They found out that she was born. He was like, what does your name mean? And she explains her name. Come to find out, she was born in the Nation of Islam. He converted to the Nation of Islam. And he explains to her what his name means. Come to find out, her dad is in jail. His mama went to jail. His mama was out of jail, but went to jail. Like, they have all of these things in common, and they're just talking and talking and talking and talking to the point where the owner of the place was like, look, I'm glad y'all enjoying yourself and everything. Well, I don't know if he's the owner, but anyway, the guy working. And this whole thing with him walking around in his drawers at some point, they never explained that. I don't know why he was in his underwear, but it was interesting. Anyway, but you see where the owner of the shop, like I said, the guy working there was like, look, glad y'all enjoying yourself, but it is 4 o'clock in the morning and I really need to close up. And so then he hit her with this slick, y'all, this was a slick move. He'd have had my drawers with this one too. I ain't gonna lie, he'd have had my drawers. He said, imagine if we had done this a year ago when we met. And she was like, maybe that wasn't our time. He was like, but maybe it was. And we would have known each other a year. And imagine we've been together for a year and you getting ready to say goodbye to me. What would you say to me? And he looking her all intense in her eyes and everything. And she was like, I would say I love you. He said, I love you too. So let's cut the bullshit and let's get to living. Honey. And then here go the dude talking about some, yeah, why don't y'all get to living outside, like out. And he opens the door like, like for real, I need y'all to go. So anyway, they get to kissing and everything. And next thing you know, it's the next morning. Yuri's smiling. He's sneaking in the house. Ruby up. Now, Ruby been treating him like pure D shit this whole episode. But he's still rolling up in the morning. And Nori called the house, so she knew he left after Nori called. So she ain't crazy. She knew where he was and what had happened. But he had been sleeping on the couch. He hadn't been sleeping in the bed with her. Because he went to get on the couch and she was like, you don't have to sleep there. You can come in the bed with me. And he was like, nah, I'm good on the couch. And you see her standing over there. He puts on his headphones and he was like, I'm just going to lay here and listen to some music. Because she was like, well, it's almost time for me to go to work. You would have the bed to yourself. Like, I wasn't inviting you to come and sleep with me or nothing. Like, I'm getting ready to get up. He was like, nah, I'm good. I'm listening to some music. Honey. She lays his ass out. She was like, well, he was like, well, does Nuri know that you got a baby and you homeless? Because I think our time is done. I think it's time for you to find somewhere to go. He was like, all right. And of course, that's not the reaction she wanted. We'll see if it's all right, then we'll see. He leans back and listens to his music and she goes stomping off. And that was pretty much the episode. It just, it tells you how they met. And I'm looking for, because, this isn't going to be an easy ride for them because she got relationship issues. She got to clean up. He got the situation with Ruby and all that drama. And he's homeless and unemployed and got a baby that nobody had mentioned up until now. So you see it's not going to be a smooth ride for them. But I do think it's going to be a testament in love and faith. You know what I'm saying? Because How many of us, what would we do if we found out the dude that we think we just fell in love with is unemployed, living with the girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, whatever, got put out and got a baby? So I'm sure all of that's going to play out. But again, y'all, highly recommend it. Y'all need to go see it. It's on the OWN network. Excuse me. If you didn't catch last night's episode, you can catch it on demand. Because that's why I had to catch it, because my DVR was on some bullshit. But I fixed it. It's going to pick it up. It's going to pick it up. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.